to hurt you, Nevaeh. Did you have a hard time breathing?
Wait a minute, I've seen this before, way back when I was a kid in the 80s. Check this shit out.
I heard something there.
All right, listen for I live with Satan, exactly. You might want to turn it up just a little out here on the floor.
Did you hear that?
I live with Satan. Listen again.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Boo Productions Paranormal Toledo. Today we're going to talk about something that happened to me when I was a kid in the 80s that is happening in today's paranormal investigations. Quote on YouTube. It is the phenomena of audio pareidolia. So let's get into it.
Hey man, is that
Christian rock?
Yeah man, well turn it up man.
Christian
Get
rock?
it all, man. 40 original rock hits by the original artists. On 4 records, 3 cassettes, or 2 CDs. Here's more.
Yes, for Satan, resist him, and he will flee from you. Oh, on the weapons of
Man, you should get
Christian
Freedom
rock?
too. 4 records or 3 cassettes are only $19.95. 2 CDs, only $24.95. Here's how to order.
So guys, I hope you all enjoyed that little piece of nostalgia. I think people my age and maybe slightly younger will totally understand that commercial. The Freedom Rock commercial. That was legendary back in the day. I just wanted to give you all a glimpse of a little part of my past. Back in the day, I was born and raised and went to a Baptist Christian school from kindergarten to 12th grade. I went to church every Sunday, Sunday night, Wednesday Bible study, part of Awana, part of, all the youth groups and all that stuff. So,
Well, isn't that special?
that was my upbringing. 80s Christian metal was a big part of, my thing back in the 80s. So back in the day, I was subject to so many sermons about the devil in rock music. And I'm not going to sit here and deny that the devil wasn't a big part of rock music, but we were always told it was, the devil was putting backward masking in the music to get in our subliminal heads, and we wouldn't, be able to detect it. But that is the part that we're going to question today. And it does tie into the paranormal because I believe all of it now, looking back on it, was audio pareidolia. Once they tell you what it says, you can't unhear it that way. But until they tell you, it's like, I don't know. We even go back, there was a minister back in the day who kind of started it. He was a member of an 80s band, I forget which one, but an 80s Christian band, but he was also a pastor. And he kind of started this whole thing with, Led Zeppelin and, bands like that. But he recently retracted that. He wishes he never would have done that. He realizes it was a mistake. And again, there was enough devil influence on music forward. It wasn't going on backwards. So let's look into some of that. We'll play some examples. We were even told to listen to Bob Larson back then. He was a respected minister that talked about the devil and all that stuff. And looking at him now, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we were told to watch that guy back then and sit through his sermons. So, and I'm telling you, I sat through plenty of these sermons. So let's get into some of this stuff.
Man, whatever happened to real music?
Man, I'm talking the good old days.
Yeah.
AC/DC, Highway to Hell.
Yeah,
I'm on a highway to hell.
Hey, don't stop, man!
That's what I'm talking about.
Missing those great heavy metal songs.
So it's funny to me too that how back in the day all these sermons had to be really, really hip, you know, for the youth group, and you know, be hip for Jesus. This is just we're gonna play some samples of one of the sermons that we had to sit through in youth group. This was a 13-hour series of videos. I think there was like 13 one-hour videos in this or something like that. But so yeah, let's just play a little bit of that, and then we're gonna get into some of the backward masking stuff.
Your head to the sizzling sounds of Alice Cooper. Go to hell. Kiss hotter than hell. Cramped. Aloha from hell. Grim Reaper. See you in hell. CJSS. Citizen of hell. Rigor Mortis. Condemned to hell. AC/DC. Highway to hell. Twisted Sister. Burn in hell. Cheap Trick. Gonna raise hell. Merciful Fate. Princess of Hell. Raven. Hell Patrol.
Look at those two goofballs dancing like that. There's no way that this is gonna get past copyright. No freaking way.
What is wrong with this man? Is this just a good time, or is there something of a deeper significance going on here as well? What type of effects does this music have upon people? Is it only rock and roll?
We were told, you know, in a sermon or multiple sermons that this was an actual demon possession on stage. And, you know, and I believed it back then, but now looking at it, it looks like just some hippies that had too many freaking drugs. And Fleetwood Mac is an awesome band, by the way. Sorry, my throat's a little messed up. Me and Dana got the swamp aids going on over here. So
Running through the house with a pickle in my mouth. Playing in the street, look at me outside waving.
These questions and others will be answered as Hell's Bells takes you on a journey to the heart of rock and roll. You'll discover what it can do to an egg, your head, your life, and your eternal soul. We'll explore rock's relationship to sex, violence, suicide, drugs, rebellion, and most importantly, the occult. Come with us now as we join our host, Eric Holmberg, founder and director of Reel to Reel Ministries, for Hell's Bells, the dangers of rock and roll.
I mean, some of that stuff, like I said, you have to agree with. There, I mean, sex, drugs, rock and roll, the devil was a big influence on, you know, a lot of rock and roll music in the 80s. Rebellion was definitely a thing. So, I mean, I don't disagree with all of that, but the real issue that we're going to get into is, you know, that they told us that this backward masking stuff was happening when it's audio pareidolia. So,
to preempt the inevitable outcries of censorship, let me go on record. We're not here pushing for record banning, record burning, or even the dubious practice of rating rock albums. So don't anybody worry. We're not trying to control what people listen to. What we are trying to do is help people understand the big picture, to peel back the veneer of pop culture and gaze into the bedrock of truth that lies beneath. Then people can make decisions about their lives, music, or anything else, armed with truth and understanding.
So I'm glad he said that, because that was a big thing back in the 80s too, and probably 90s and whatever, that there were groups that were out there trying to ban music, and I've never ever been for banning anything. If you've got a problem with something, just, you know, argue your point. Let's not ban things that other people enjoy. So I've never ever been for that, never will be for that. So
given the materialistic philosophy that marks this present age, it's surprising that more attention has not been given to the many profound ways sound and different musical forms can affect the physical world. For example, research has found that shrill sounds of sufficient volume can congeal proteins in a liquid media. So a soft egg placed in front of a speaker at some of the louder rock concerts can midway through the concert become a hard-boiled snack for the weary headbanger. Does anybody have any salt here?
So that's something to me. I'm not going to look that up to see if that's true. I have serious doubts based on all of the other stuff that I've been told, that I found later in life are not true. So I doubt that very serious that turned an egg into a hard-boiled egg. And my second point would be is that it was okay and promoted, that we go see these Christian metal bands. The same loud concerts, the same kind of music, different lyrics, but so if it was so damaging to our body, why were all those bands pushed on us in the 80s and the youth groups?
Humans are much more complex than plants, but it still makes one wonder what this type of music might be doing to us. As Dr. Adam Niesti, a musicologist who studies the effects of music upon people, noted, it's really a powerful drug. Music can poison you, lift your spirits, or make you sick without knowing why.
So I didn't show the clip where he was talking about how the argument is that, loud rock and roll music would actually kill plants, whereas classical uplifting music would help plants grow. Again, I don't know if this is real science, if this is just propaganda, I don't know, and I'm not going to take the time to look it up. I guess it was in the context of the Christian school and stuff. I have heard that several times, so, I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments if that's actual science, if any studies have ever been done on that. So let's get out of this stuff, because this is just an example of some of the sermons that I sat through as a youth, and let's get into some of the backward masking stuff.
You're gonna rot in hell for making light of that.
No, I won't.
So let's get into some of these clips that are played backwards. It's rock and roll music from the 70s, 80s, maybe 60s, I don't know. But let's get into playing some of these clips, and this guy's going to play them backwards. So let's go ahead and listen to these. I'm going to play them twice, and then you guys go ahead and guess what you think it says, and then I'll play the answer. So if you need to pause, go ahead and do that. But 2 times, that's your warning, and then I'm going to play the answer. I'd be curious to see if you guys can hear this the way that they say it says it, because my problem is I listened to so many of these sermons back in the day that I already know the answer, and I do hear it after they tell you. So, let's go ahead and play a game, see what happens.
Shall we play a game?
And I've reverse thread the machine, and I'm going to play that exact piece of tape backwards now. Okay, just
prove that you've not doctored it.
I have not doctored it in any way. All right, let's go ahead and start. Start.
Okay, so now I'm going to play their answer, but I was told in school, I'm just going to give you what I was told, and I cannot unhear it this way, but I was told it says, I will sing because I live with Satan. He left out the will sing. And another thing, guys, I'm done giving the illusion that I tape all this shit in one take, because obviously we've got another wardrobe change, but it takes me a while to do these. My methods suck. We all know this. So, but anyway, let's play the answer and what they say. And so they actually say the answer before they play the clips. So I've clipped it up to where this is at the end. That's not how they do it on their show. They say what it says and then they play it, and you can only hear it that way. So we'll play their answer, and then we'll play the clip again so you can listen to it one more time, knowing what everybody says it says.
Okay.
I heard something there.
All right, listen for I live with Satan, exactly. You might want to turn it up just a little out here on the floor.
Did you hear that?
I live with Satan. Listen again. Okay.
As I live with
How many
Satan.
in the audience heard that? All right.
Now let's get that vote on videotape here. How many actually heard that? All right.
All right. Let's go on.
So again, you may say, Jeff, what the hell does this have to do with the paranormal? Well, it has to do with the paranormal because this is audio pareidolia. When When these paranormal teams put the words on the screen that they want you to think it says, that's what you hear. Because we've played this game with Paranormal Nightmare before, where we play it without, we blur what they say it says, and nobody gets it. But when they put the words on the screen, that's what you hear, because it's in your mind. That's what you're listening for, and your mind turns it into, that's what it is. But it's still a fun game to play, so we're still going to do some more clips.
All right, try another piece. This is something I found the other day. See if you hear "The Lord Turn Me Off."
Yeah.
Okay.
The Lord. The audience is voting here. They're hearing it.
Let's go on. All right, try that for you. Slow it down. See if you hear there's no escaping it.
Did y'all hear that?
All right, we'll go on. You'll hear, "Here's to my sweet Satan." You'll hear some words.
So did you guys notice how horrified that lady was in the background? I'll show it again real quick.
Did y'all hear that?
All right, we'll go on.
Okay, guys, this is going to be the last one, and then we will move on to something different. This is from the song Snowblind.
Meow, meow, mommy.
Oh, no.
One is going to say it at regular speed backwards, and the next will be, I'll slow it down so you can hear it a little better. Let's hear that Snowblind backwards now. Okay. Okay. Now if you listened, you heard him say, "Oh, Satan, move in our voices."
So there's hundreds of examples on the internet of the backward masking and the satanic stuff and blah, blah, blah. So let me know in the comments if you guys got any of them right. Like I said, I've heard this so much before that I kind of knew what they all said, only because I had been pre-programmed, as to what the answer was. So next we're going to show this Timu Tom Selleck looking dude filling people's heads with just scare stuff. We were scared a lot in church back in the day. And I'm not dogging the message or any of that, but there was definitely times where things were said that were not true just to kind of scare us. So here's an example of one of those. Then we're going to get into, there was a guy, I believe he was the singer for the band, I think it was Deliverance, which was a pretty hardcore Christian metal band back in the day. But the guy's name is Pastor Bob, and he's going to give his thoughts, his modern day thoughts on backward masking and the satanic panic and all that stuff.
Antichrist and the demon powers and the rock system. If you're into rock and roll today, let me warn you that you may have already been conditioned to become part of this Antichrist or anti-Jesus Christ system. Now, Satan is using the rock groups as his patsies to evangelize the youth of the world. How better could he tell the young people how to turn away from Jesus and how to come to him? They are worshiping the devil. I don't think a lot of young people know they are worshiping the devil.
But I see you. The devil just jumped right in me there for a second, didn't he?
So there you have it, guys. I listened to countless sermons that preach the same message. So Now we're going to listen to Pastor Bob, and this guy is going to drop some truth. And this is where we tie it into the paranormal, because a lot of what he says can be said directly about the spirit box stuff, EVPs, DR60 crap, all that stuff. This guy really, it's funny how much in common this has with the paranormal today. So, it's all about pre-programming. So let's get into it. This is Pastor Bob.
Musicators. He did another song, Stairway to Heaven, played it backwards as well. He also played some Christian music, and it had a backward message as well.
So yeah, the point of that is it's in all music because your brain is trying to turn it into something it recognizes. That's the audio pareidolia, and it happens in Christian music. Now, the first 4 examples that we played were from the song Stairway to Heaven, and there are so many more from that song that we could have played, but I figured 4 or 5 was enough for you guys to get the point.
Well, it's true confession day for me. Excuse me. In the early 80s, I did a presentation on music. It was called The Rock That Steals Your Soul. And I wanted to kind of show why the emerging Christian rock scene was so important and how bad some of the secular music was. And I am maybe the original, but one of the originals that played Stairway to Heaven backwards.
Oh, we're going to get some truth dropped on us. So I like it when these pastors come out later on, because I don't think his intention back in the day was bad, but I like it when these guys come out later on in their career, in their life, and say, hand up accountability. That's on me. That's my bad. I did something wrong. And this guy, like he said, it's a full confession time.
And I can give you all the reasons why I did it and what I found and all of that. But, I played a few things backwards in those days and kind of started this whole frenzy of backward masking. And I would have thousands of people show up for my presentations and buy my tapes with that music being played backwards. It's one of the things in my life, honestly, that I regret the most.
And he's right. If you didn't grow up back in that time period or, in the church or anything like that, you're not going to understand. Like, it was a massive frenzy. It was talked about in all the youth groups. In fact, I know I've listened to his series on this, the lecture tapes that he had. So, yeah, he's right. It was an absolute frenzy. The devil was everywhere.
Is there some backward masking going on in music? Yeah, there is. There's some bands that have deliberately recorded some things backwards. Stairway to Heaven, I think the verdict is still out, but I think the song has a pretty occultic origin, so it wouldn't surprise me. But, I created a monster that I really regret. And here we are, 30 years later, and we're talking about this monster still. I think it's really important, first of all, to talk about how creative our mind can be.
Uh-oh. Now we're getting into the bread and butter of the message. So what he says next is very important. I will agree with him, though, that, like, Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin was into the occult. Jimmy Page bought Aleister Crowley's house because it was Aleister Crowley's house, his mansion on Loch Ness. So, that's the truth. They were into the occult. But they were also into the Lord of the Rings, and a lot of their music had Lord of the Rings ties to it, too. So,
when I did my talk on rock music, it occurred to me that as I was playing some things backwards, I was also telling them what the backward words were saying. And they would go, wow, yeah, it is saying that. But I did a little investigation, and I found some people that had never heard my seminars. And I said, let me play this for you backwards and see if you can tell me what it's saying. And I did that, and very few of them could tell me what it was saying.
And I bet you the paranormal teams like Paranormal Nightmare, all these other ones, if they were to do the same thing without putting the words on the screen, I bet you it would be the same result. People would not be understanding what they're saying it's saying. So this is how this applies to the paranormal.
It was the power of my suggestion, actually. that was convincing them. And it wasn't too long after that that I stopped doing this presentation and started Sanctuary, actually. It's one of those black parts of my life that I'd like to forget about. One of those dark areas that I sure would have done differently these days. In those days, I did radio interviews and so many things, and I remember one very popular station dubbed me the king of backward masking. And, you know, it's a label that I'm so happy that I lost. And now all these years later, I'm talking about it again. I probably will regret this at some point. But Lawrence, I say all of that for this. You know, isn't it great that God created music? And we don't have any evidence that playing something backwards is going to do anything to you anyway. You know, does your mind really reverse it? Probably not.
So he's absolutely right about that. The power of suggestion is very powerful, and you can get a lot of people to think a lot of stuff that isn't real or they wouldn't normally think just by merely putting it out there, pre-programming or priming, as people like to say.
And I'm going to get emails saying, oh, yes, it does. Well, don't send them to me because, you know, it just doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is what the music is saying forward. And there's a whole lot of music these days that you don't have to play backwards to really understand what it's saying. And I think we ought to choose music according to what it's saying forward. And again, like I said before when we talked about music, does it match your lifestyle? You know, that's the most important thing. So don't be afraid of music. Those people that try to find a demon behind every bush and behind every chair, you know, I feel bad for them, but we live in the victory of Jesus Christ, and we don't have to go on witch hunts with music or anything else. So, Lawrence, enjoy your music. Make wise choices, and celebrate the fact that God gave us music, you know, as a wonderful, wonderful creative tool to enjoy. God bless you. Have a great day.
So there you have it, guys. Hopefully this wasn't too long of a video. As you guys know, I'm going to dedicate this video to Ken Jarrell. He's the one that really was waiting for this, because I put the intro out a long time ago because I feel like there is no chance that this is going to pass copyright stuff. So I may have to just go unmonetized on this, and I'm fine with that. I'm glad to be putting out a video again. It is Halloween season now. I think I started this probably in the spring. So it's taken me a long time to do this. And it's not because it was just such a grueling video to do. It was more like I just couldn't get motivated to do paranormal stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I really want to start getting content out more and more. This week I've been inspired to do a lot more video editing because I had to do some for presentations that we're doing and different public Halloween type events and things like that. So I think I'm back in the mode of editing. We're still going to do our live shows on Mondays. A couple other special ones coming up, hopefully. The Power Hour. We might do a Halloween special on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking it out. Just all you guys, you know, the memberships are great. The super stickers, all that stuff are great. But just you guys watching this stuff is the coolest thing you guys can do. So we appreciate you, and we will see you on the next one.